So I got a fan question here. He says, Judge Payne, I know you have a lot of experience and you've done great in life. So I'm curious, how do I balance video games, trying to get laid, and education? And which one's more important to my life? How can you align your interests in these three things? Well, let's start with video games. Can getting laid help you get more video games? Almost never. It just doesn't work like that. I can't even imagine a setting where getting laid more would lead you to get more video games in your life. So that seems like an odd way to look at it. So don't look at it that way. Does more education lead you to have more video games? If you go through a lot of education and you get really, really lucky, you can potentially get a job. And then you might be able to save up some money and sustain, you get a computer room and sustain your life in an apartment. Then you might be able to play some video games. So education, I'd say 4 out of 10 way to play video games. Of course, the best way to play video games is just to buy a $200 Xbox One and a cheap-ass TV and just play the games. Problem solved. You have all the video games you could ever want. So I don't really know why you would need to ask me that. You don't need to get a job, you don't need education, and you don't need to be getting laid to play video games. So just get that out of your head. You're thinking too much. You're thinking too much up there. Now, how does video games and getting laid contribute to your goal of education? Well, again, the answer is it really doesn't. For the most part, video games distract you from education. And I don't know why you want to conflate the two. Same thing with getting laid. It really doesn't help you obtain an education at all. Pretty much both of those things are huge time sinks in regards to education and career. So again, you get your thinking different than what it is right now, because right now it's wrong. So I'm glad you asked me the question. Get all that just out of your head. Now, here's the interesting one. How does video games and education contribute to you getting laid? It really doesn't. I don't really see those playing into getting laid much at all. Video games, yeah, you need to take a break sometimes, show that you're not interested, show that you don't give a fuck. And video games can be a really good way to be aloof and to not be available. So for that reason, yes, you should probably have video games in your place, kind of available to you at all times, so you can just be doing that. And then just be available as little as possible, be watching that and pay attention to your friends more and show that you have other things that you're more interested in. That would really maybe help you sustain a relationship. When it comes to education and getting laid, I actually think that there's no correlation at all. So get educated, don't get educated, it doesn't matter. Probably focus on being a bartender or something like that. So that's my thoughts, guys. It's a good question, but you need to think about life differently, because right now it's just not the right idea. You were raised wrong, and nobody taught you these things. So bye.